All right, folks, this is Lens, also known as Audible Agent in some circles. This is going to be a pick for a greenbelt submission. This will be my first submission to get a belt. I'm choosing to do a Medeco Duracam. I believe this actually qualifies for a higher belt ranking, but I haven't built the challenge lock yet. I need to do that, so nevertheless, thought it'd be fun to go ahead and use this one to ask for the green belt. And yeah, let me show the key here. See if we can get this to focus. I believe this is pretty common bidding for this lock. There must have been a lot of these locks that were all keyed alike and sold on eBay, because I actually bought a second one of these locks and it had the same key bidding as well. And if you don't know about these locks, these are kind of a strange dimple lock design where the pins need to rotate, typical of Medecos, but it is driverless. So there's only one pin in each of the chambers, and there are serrations on each of those pins. And there's a little hole on the side of the pin, and that little hole is what receives a peg from the sidebar that allows that sidebar to recess. I have to say that this lock has been actually quite a challenge for me, even more so than the Medeco M3, which I found actually relatively easy. And the reason being is that it feels like the feedback you get on these pins is extremely vague. Excuse me. And I read and watched a lot of YouTube videos of other people picking this and got a mix of advice. I think Asahat Labs suggests that if you feel a pin that is rigid and not moving, then it's already set and you should be looking for the ones that are loose. And I've heard others who just kind of pick this as if it was a normal pin tumbler lock, and they seem to have success, but neither of those was really working for me. And I ended up having to progressive pin this lock, starting with 1 or 2 pins and working my way up to 5 to really figure out what the feedback was telling me. And my only advice would be that if you come across a pin as you're going through, and it is completely rigid, meaning you're not getting any movement out of it, sideways, up and down, focus on that one and get it up 1 click. And after you get it up just that 1 click, hopefully 1 serration, give it a little jostle on the edge of it, back and forth, and see if you can get it rotated and get the cord to turn a little bit. This cord does seem to turn progressively more and more into a deeper and deeper false set as you set each of those pins. But yeah, I've found that the most rigid pin is the one that seems to be the one I need to focus on. You'll come across pins that are extremely loose, and my experience is that you can ignore those. And then there's some pins that are kind of in between. It feels like they're a little bit loose, but they also don't want to move to a great degree. And I think those are the pins that are telling me they are set. So that's just a little tip. There's, again, lots of advice out there on how to pick these. That advice didn't work for me, even though it was wonderful advice. But, some people just need to hear things said to them a certain way in order for it to click. And I'm hoping to offer my version of this and my version of the advice, and hopefully that'll help somebody out there. So let's get started. I believe the requirement for this 5-pin lock is it must be raked first to reset all the rotations. Call that good. I'm going to be using a Sparrows flag. This is one that doesn't have like an offset or a bias to one side or the other. It is sort of symmetrical side to side. And then I'm just going to be using this kind of Z-bar wrench to tension it. I have the cam on this lock set to rotate counterclockwise. You can set it up to be counterclockwise or clockwise, either way. I just found this to be the most comfortable for how I like to pick in this vise. and I'm going to start going through and seeing if I can get this open. So going through, 1 is loose, very loose. 2 is loose. 3 is the one that seems to be binding. So got a little click there, and I'm going to try to rotate that one pin side to side to just see if I get the rotation right or if I get it to drop down anymore. Not feeling anything, so I'm going to keep going forward. 4 is binding. Little click there. Again, side to side, see if I can get it to move anymore, fall into the right rotation. Onto 5. Let's see if I can get under it. Five isn't giving me anything. Go ahead and sweep. I'm just going to also see if sweeping back and forth might set the rotation on some of these, and actually it did. This core just rotated a little bit. So again, going through, trying to find a binder. 1 is loose. 2 I don't feel at all, so it actually might be overset, which is really easy to do on these. And yeah, I don't think I'm feeling what I want to feel here, so I'm going to let off tension a little bit, just listen for 1 click. Oh, maybe got a few more clicks than that. So let's see, let's go back in there. I think 2 is binding now really hard. Let's see if I can get a click on that one. Nope. Gotta get under it. Nope. It moved, but it's not giving me anything. Let's see, I think that's 4 now that's binding. Got a little movement on the pin, but again, no core rotation. 5, nothing. Go back through, do a little sweep across the pins again, see if I can just get anything to settle into the right rotation. Go back in. Okay, 5 feels like it's binding. Got a little click there, and I was able to sweep by it on the left side and got a little rotation on the core again. 1, 2, 3, feel loose. 4 is the one that seems to be bound, so let's see if we can move that up 1 notch. Okay, got a click. Okay, another core rotation. 1 is loose. 2 feels like maybe the one to focus on. Maybe. It also feels like it's up pretty high, so maybe that is overset. Let me just check these other pins. See if we can do anything with 2. Okay, a little click. I don't know if that was me slipping off the warding or if I actually got it. Sweeping the pins again. See if I can get any more core rotation. And let's see, I think that's 3. Oh man, I think I just lost a bunch of them. All right, let's see what we got. 4's loose, 5's loose, 1's loose. 2 or 3 still feels like maybe it's binding. It's not giving me much. Let's see, 1 is kind of binding. Sometimes your pick will just get stuck right at the edge, and I'm not sure what's going on in that situation. So I tend to like rock the pick back and forth when I feel that, just to see if I can get it to rotate to the correct location. Okay, now we're getting binding on 4, I think. Moved it. Let's see. 5 is loose. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling anything right now. So again, when I hit this point, I usually just let up on the tension, see if I can get something to fall down. Okay, let's see, 2. Come on, give me something. Get under it. 2 is not wanting to move. Okay, got some clicks out of 4, I think. Sweeping the side of it, see if I can get the rotation. Same with 5, nothing. Okay, 5 again. If I can get under it. Okay, got a click. Let's see if I can get any core movement. A little bit. All right. 3, I think, is binding. Nope. That was 4. Little click there. 5 again. One loose, 2. Click out of 2. See if I can sweep the side of it. Get in the rotation that I want. Nope. 3 again. 4. Seems like it's really easy to drop the pins that you think you set. Ah, there we go. Got the open. Last one was 5. Just had to sweep by it and I got this open. So let me just show, because the way this core is mounted in the housing, it would be pretty easy to fake an open because this outer sleeve can spin around the internal core. Somebody mentioned that in a different video, so I'm just going to be cautious here in showing that. Let's make sure I don't accidentally lock this up. Showing that the... Did I lock it? Oh my god. No. Okay. Okay, you can see it's rotating. There we go. That's rotating. That's picked. Okay, I think we can all agree on that. So let's go ahead and lock this back up. And then opening this up is pretty straightforward, actually. Lower the camera down. And we'll just do this here. Little nut on the back comes off. Just a little bit of a washer. And there's the cam right here that you can flip around to change the direction that the lock locks and unlocks. And then this just pops right out of the sleeve. And I think these are typically considered not guttable, but I've had this open. Like I said, I've been progressive pinning this to learn how to read the feedback. And it's actually pretty easy to pop this open. So we'll go ahead and do that. And you'll see I've kind of accidentally stretched some of these springs, unfortunately. I don't know if the sidebar can be pulled out on these or not, so I might skip that and just hope that it's not required. But let's go ahead and dump the first pin. Oop. Let's see if I can show the little hole on the side. I don't know if you can see that, but that little hole is where the sidebar falls in. Let's do 2. I've got a pinning tray, but it currently has pins in it that I need to keep track of. There's 3. Let's move this stuff out of the way. 4. Maybe. 4 doesn't want to come out right now. Let's get 5 out. Let's get 4 out. Come on. There it goes. Okay. See the core. You can see the spot where there's a little bit of a cutout on each of the chambers so that the pins can rotate just a limited amount. Here's the sidebar. Don't know if that comes out. Sure it does, but I'm not entirely sure how to pull that out. So let's take a close-up on the pins. Let's see if I can get these oriented. Come on. All right, do close up on these guys. See, some of those springs are slightly mangled, but still functional. I do have another one of these locks, so I could replace these springs, but I don't think that affected the operation of the lock, to be honest. And I can't remember if it's required to show repinning these locks for the green belt. I think it is, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. It's pretty easy. Drop these guys in, same order they came out. And then they're all sitting proud because this guy needs to be rotated so that that little flange on the outside isn't getting caught on the top of the chambers, and it can go down into the hole. Okay, one more. All right, now let's drop these springs in. Okay, let's get this little chamber cover back on. It's basically a little dovetail, so it allows that to slide on and stay on. Just gotta compress the spring as I'm pushing it on. Got something to help me push it on here. That's 2, 3, oops, kind of looks like maybe that spring is getting jammed up. That's how you damage springs. Try that again. Okay, let's just shove that guy back in there. Come on. Okay, one more. Right. Okay, I gotta get back in the housing. So there's a little ridge where the sidebar falls in. Goes in just like that. Get this tailpiece on. Make sure I've got it oriented right. I always get this wrong. So that needs to turn that way. I think I had it right the first time. Yeah, okay. Okay, get the spacer back on. And where's that nut? Okay. Okay, let's just show it working again. Cool. There we go. So again, this was the Medeco Duracam 5-pin driverless. Very interesting lock, I gotta say. Definitely felt like this was much harder than the Medeco M3 for me, mainly because the feedback was just way different than what I was expecting, and it took a while to learn what those pins were telling me. So thanks for watching. Hope this earned me a green belt. Talk to you later.